Today we will talk about a book that can change your life, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book teaches us how by making small changes we can bring big results in our life. If you are troubled by your bad habits and want to form good habits, then this summary is for you. In this summary we will understand the 10 most important lessons of Atomic Habits and learn to apply them in our daily life. So let's get started. Lesson 1. The aggregation of marginal gains. This first lesson of Atomic Habits is very powerful. James Clear says that big changes do not happen in a day, but happen by combining small improvements. Just like an atom is very small, but when millions of atoms come together, a big thing is formed. Similarly, small good habits together have a big impact in our life. He calls it the formula of 1% better every day. That is, if you improve just 1% every day, then in a year you will become 37 times better. It sounds very small, but its compounding effect is very big. Let's take a real-life example. Suppose you exercise only for 15 minutes every day. It sounds very little, but if you do it every day, then in a year you will have exercised for 90 hours. This is a huge improvement for your health. Similarly, if you read for just 10 minutes every day, in a year you will have read many books. This will be a huge gain for your knowledge. Often we want big and immediate results, and hence ignore small efforts. But Atomic Habits teaches us that the real power lies in small, consistent efforts. This lesson also teaches us that we should focus on the system, not the results. That is, we should create such habits that automatically lead us to results. For example, if you develop a habit of exercising for 15 minutes every day, then you do not need to think about the results, they will come automatically. Therefore, the first lesson is not to underestimate small improvements. Try to become 1% better every day, and you will see how big a difference it makes over time. Small beginnings lay the foundation for big achievements. Even if it is at the pace of a snail, only by continuously moving forward can one reach the destination. Lesson 2. Forget about goals, focus on systems. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that we often focus too much on goals, and that is why we get disappointed when we do not get immediate results. He says that goals are important, but systems are more important than that. Systems mean the processes that take you to your goals. Let's take an example. Suppose your goal is to lose weight. This is your goal, but to achieve it you have to create a system, such as exercising daily, eating healthy food, and avoiding junk food. If you focus only on the goal and do not create any system, then your chances of losing weight are very less. On the other hand, if you create a good system, then you do not need to think much about the goal. It will be achieved automatically. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should focus on the process, not on the results. We should create such habits that automatically take us towards our goals. Let's take another example. Suppose your goal is to write a book. If you just keep thinking, I have to write a book, then you will never be able to write. But if you create a system, like writing for an hour every day, then you will gradually complete your book. So, the second lesson is to forget the goals, focus on the systems. Create a good system to achieve your goals and work on it consistently. Goals are just the destination, while the system is the path that takes you there. Just dreaming of the destination does not help. It is also important to walk on the right path to reach it. Focus on the process, the results will come automatically. Lesson 3. Build identity-based habits. In this lesson, James Clear introduces a very important concept, identity. He says that we should connect our habits to our identity. That is, we should think about the kind of person we want to be, and then develop those kind of habits. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to become a runner. If you only think that, I have to win a race, then your chances of running are less. But if you think that, I am a runner, then you will automatically be motivated to run. Because running will become a part of your identity. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should focus on identity, not action. We should think about the kind of person we want to be, and then cultivate those kind of habits. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to become a writer. If you just think, I want to write a book, you will probably never be able to write. But if you think, I am a writer, you will be motivated to write every day. Because writing will become part of your identity. So, the third lesson is to create identity-based habits. Think about the kind of person you want to be, and then develop habits that way. Linking your identity to your habits is the real change. Just doing the work does not do anything. It is important to realize that you are the person doing that work. You can change your habits only by changing your identity. Just like an actor molds into his character, similarly we also have to mold into our desired identity. Lesson 4. Make it obvious. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that to form good habits, we must make them obvious, that is, we must clearly see them. When something is in front of us, the chances of doing it increase. He calls this the concept of habit cues. That is, things that trigger us to do a habit. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to exercise every morning. If you keep your exercise clothes near your bed at night, then the chances of getting up in the morning and exercising increase, because those clothes act as a habit cue. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should design our environment in such a way that good habits are triggered automatically. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to drink more water. If you keep a water bottle on your work desk, then you will drink more water, because the bottle will act as a habit cue. Similarly, to avoid bad habits, we must make them invisible. That is, we must remove their habit cues. Suppose you watch a lot of TV. If you remove the TV remote from your living room, the chances of watching TV will be reduced. So, the fourth lesson is to make good habits obvious and bad habits invisible. Design your environment in such a way that good habits are triggered easily and bad habits are difficult. It is easy to do something that is in front of the eyes, and difficult to do something that is out of sight. You can change your habits by changing the environment around you. Just as one feels like working on a clean desk, good habits develop in a good environment. Lesson 5. Make it attractive. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that making good habits more attractive makes them easier to stick to. When we like something, we feel like doing it. He calls this the concept of temptation bundling. That is, associating your favorite things with the habits you want to develop. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to go to the gym every day, but you find going to the gym boring. If you make it a rule to listen to your favorite podcast after going to the gym, then going to the gym will become more attractive, because you will be motivated to go to the gym to listen to the podcast. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should design our habits in such a way that they seem rewarding to us. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to read a book every day. If you choose a quiet and comfortable place to read the book, where no one disturbs you, then reading the book will become more attractive. Similarly, to make bad habits less attractive, we should make them unpleasant. That is, we should associate something negative with them. Suppose you use social media a lot. If you make it a rule to do a few push-ups every time you use social media, then using social media will become less attractive. Therefore, the fifth lesson is to make good habits attractive and bad habits unpleasant. Design your habits in such a way that you remain motivated to do them and stay away from bad habits. It is easy to do what we like, and difficult to do what we dislike. By making your habits rewarding, you can make them a natural part of your life. Just like eating sweets makes you feel good, similarly good habits should also be made rewarding so that you feel like doing them. Lesson 6. Make it easy. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that to form good habits, we should make them as easy as possible. When something is easy, the chances of doing it increase. He calls this the concept of the 2-minute rule. That is, set a time of just 2 minutes to start any new habit. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to read a book every day. If you think that I will read for an hour every day, then it may seem very difficult. But if you make a rule that I will read only 2 minutes every day, then it will seem very easy and you will be able to start easily. Once you read for 2 minutes, you can read for longer. But the main point is to start, and the 2-minute rule makes it easy. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should design our habits in such a way that there is minimum friction for them. That is, minimum effort is required to do them. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to meditate every day. If you set a quiet place and a specific time, it will become easier to meditate. Similarly, to avoid bad habits, we must make them difficult. That is, we must increase the friction for them. Suppose you eat a lot of fast food. If you stop keeping fast food in the house, the chances of eating fast food will decrease. So, the sixth lesson is to make good habits easy and bad habits difficult. Design your habits in such a way that good habits are formed easily and bad habits are difficult. What is easy to do, and what is difficult to do. By reducing the friction for your habits, you can make them a natural part of your life. Just like it is easy to drive on a slope, similarly easy habits are easy to implement in your life. Start small but be continuous. This is the mantra of success. Lesson 7. Make it satisfying. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that making good habits rewarding is very important to make them stick. When we do something and feel good after it, we feel like doing it again. He calls this the concept of reinforcement. That is, reinforcing your good habits with rewards. Let's take an example. Suppose you exercise every day. If you reward yourself with a healthy smoothie after exercising, then exercising will become more satisfying and you will continue to do it for a longer time. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should design our habits in such a way that they give us immediate satisfaction. Let's take another example. Suppose you learn something new every day. If you track and celebrate your progress after learning something new every day, then learning will become more satisfying. Similarly, to avoid bad habits, we should make them unsatisfying. That is, some negative consequences should be associated with them. Suppose you smoke a lot. If you make it a rule to do some extra work after every cigarette, then smoking will become less satisfying. Therefore, the seventh lesson is to make good habits satisfying and bad habits unsatisfying. Design your habits in such a way that you feel good after doing them and stay away from bad habits. It is easy to do things that give us satisfaction, and difficult to do things that we find unpleasant. By making your habits rewarding, you can make them a natural part of your life. Just like completing a task gives us happiness, good habits should also be made rewarding so that we feel like doing them. An immediate reward helps a lot in maintaining a habit. Just like children get toffees for good work, similarly one should also give oneself small rewards. Lesson 8. Use habit tracking. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that tracking our habits is very important. When we see our progress, we stay motivated and the chances of sticking to the habit increase. He calls this the concept of visual measurement. That is, tracking your progress visually. Let's take an example. Suppose you want to develop a habit of drinking water every day. If you make a chart and tick it every time after drinking water, you will see your progress clearly and you will stay motivated. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should track our habits in such a way that we can clearly see our progress. Let's take another example. Suppose you want to develop a habit of learning something new every day. If you write what you learned every day in a journal, you will have a record of your learning journey and you will stay motivated. Habit tracking also makes us accountable. When we track our progress, we are more accountable to ourselves and are less likely to break a habit. So, the 8th lesson is to use habit tracking. Track your progress and see it visually. This will keep you motivated and help you stick to the habit. What can be measured can be improved. Seeing your progress brings joy and motivates you to keep going. Just like an athlete tracks his performance, we should also track our habits. Habit tracking is a powerful tool that helps us control our habits. Apart from digital apps and spreadsheets, you can also use simple paper and pen. The main thing is to visualize your progress. Lesson 9. Never miss twice. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that while making habits, sometimes we miss. This is normal. But the important thing is that we do not miss twice in a row. If we miss a habit one day, then we must do it the next day. He calls this the concept of breaking the chain. That is, do not let the chain of your habit break. Let's take an example. Suppose you exercise every morning. One day you are not able to exercise due to some reason. This is fine, but the next day you must exercise. If you do not exercise the next day as well, then your chain of habit will break and it will be difficult to start it again. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should focus on consistency, not perfection. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we should learn from them and move forward. Let's take another example. Suppose you are developing a habit of writing something every day. One day you are very busy and are not able to write. It doesn't matter, but you must write the next day, even if you write just one paragraph. It is important to maintain the chain. Therefore, the 9th lesson is never to miss twice. If you miss a habit one day, do it the next day. This will help you a lot in maintaining your habit. Humans are a bundle of mistakes, but learning from those mistakes and moving forward is what is really important. Missing one day is not a big deal, but continuously missing can become a bad habit. The secret of success is to keep your habit chain from breaking. Just like a rope is made from a thread, a strong habit is made from consistent effort every day. Once the chain breaks, it is difficult to join it again, so try never to break the chain. Lesson 10. Be patient. In this lesson, James Clear tells us that it takes time to form habits, so we should be patient. We often want immediate results, and when we don't get them, we get disappointed and give up the habit. Atomic Habits teaches us that we should have a long-term perspective and trust the process. Let's take an example. Suppose you go to the gym every day and you want to start seeing results in just a month. But this may not happen. It takes time to change the body. If you get disappointed and stop going to the gym after a month, you will never get results. On the other hand, if you have patience and keep going to the gym consistently, then after a few months you will definitely start seeing results. Atomic habits also teaches us that we should not be afraid of plateaus. Plateaus mean the time when we feel that our progress has stopped. This is a normal part of every habit-building process. At this time, we should have patience and continue our habits. Let's take another example. Suppose you are learning a new language. In the beginning, you will see progress very quickly, but after a time, you will feel that the progress has stopped. This is a plateau. At this time, if you have patience and keep practicing, you will cross this plateau and start progressing again. Therefore, the 10th lesson is to have patience. It takes time to form habits, so we should have a long-term perspective and trust the process. Do not expect immediate results, but focus on consistent efforts. With time, you will definitely get results. Just like a tree takes time to grow, it also takes time to form good habits. No change happens overnight, so it is very important to have patience. Continuous efforts and unwavering faith lay the foundation of success. Just like a farmer waits patiently for the harvest after sowing the seeds, similarly we should also wait patiently for our habits to flourish after sowing them. So friends, these were the 10 powerful lessons of Atomic Habits. We learned how by making small changes we can bring big results in our life. These lessons can help us a lot in breaking our bad habits and forming good habits. Hope you liked this video and you got to learn something new. If you found this video informative, then like it, share it and do not forget to subscribe to our channel DY Books so that you keep getting more such videos. See you in the next video. Till then, thanks.